Odinga leading the Azimio coalition, and you played that bite earlier on before we started, they've actually confirmed that they will be going into court and they'll be, giving more evidence. It's something that it's a wait and see, to be honest. But as it is, we thank God for the calm that is sweeping across the country.
Okay, so we all know that William Ruto has been declared the winner with 50% plus one. What about the other threshold of crossing 24 of the 47 counties? Did he achieve that as well? I'm guessing he did.
Yes, he did, and we have a statement signed by the presidential returning officer. That's the chairman, Wafula Chebukati, who is the man who has really been an attack, to be honest, especially looking at the news this evening. I think everyone's just saying that, he could have done better, he could have, consulted further, but per law, he is the one to declare the results. So the question is, it's something we'll be looking forward to, especially when the case goes to court, the Supreme Court, is as the returning officer, yes, the chairman, and he's rightfully the one supposed to declare the winner, but is that in consultation with the other commissioners prior to the declaration, or is it assumed that as the returning officer, once he declared the winner, he's already consulted with the other commissioners? So it's just, to be honest, kind of judging into the law, and everyone is referring to the minor KI case. We've been here before previously with the elections being cancelled by the, the Supreme Court. We don't know if it will go this way, but what you'll actually ask Kenyans on a scale of 1 to 10, depending on how this election was carried out, I think you'll get a score of about 7, 8 out of 10. Because we had a public portal, to be honest, Paul. You can actually go online, and thank God for, crowdsourcing, thank God for data journalists. You can actually go online, get your calculator, and be able to actually come up with the results and actually see how they tallied based off on the forms that have been uploaded. And I think this is really a hallmark in democracy, particularly in Africa, where we have all the forms are actually uploaded online. So different from the previous elections, I think this one, if you actually notice an improvement and a trend that was actually witnessed, especially during when the losers were, when the winners were being announced, is that there were a lot of, concedes, I would say. I mean, also politicians are coming up and saying, I concede defeat. Thank you so much for the time the voters have chosen. So, they're saying, okay, well, my ideas are not in tandem with what perhaps the voters wanted. So that is something that we've not witnessed before, because it always used to be like, I'm going to court, I'm not happy. So straight up from the lower level, member of parliament, we're looking at governor level, the contention is just a presidential election, and we can't wait to see how this one flows.
Okay, so I understand that in Kenya, in a moment, our legal researchers will be taking us to the law in Kenya, but we understand that in Kenya, there can be no swearing in of the declared winner until the processes at the Supreme Court are completed. Is that correct?
Confirmed, that's correct.
So William Ruto right now and Uhuru Kenyatta, has their term already run out? In Ghana, terms run out automatically on 7 January, which is a month after the election in 7 December. Is that the same in Kenya? Have the terms run out? Is it running out on a particular day? What happens if it runs out? How does it work?
Good question, Paul. And the judiciary actually took to Twitter to actually release a statement straight after the results were announced that anyone who is in who has a case to present to the Supreme Court regarding the presidential election should do so within the set time. Now, what set time are we looking at? The results were announced yesterday. So we have about 21 days. So we have about 7 days. 7 days for anyone who is petitioning, anyone who has aggravated to actually file their case in front of the Supreme Court. And this is just particularly for the presidential election. And after that, we're calculating another 21 days for the Supreme Court to actually sit and come up with, the way forward. Now, you will realize from today's remark by Raila Odinga, who's protesting the results, he said that they're going to look at any legal or constitutional viable ways to actually contest the results. So we actually see that going into the law, into the courts. So that is actually how it's going to flow. But at the same time, the president-elect, William Ruto, actually called on, Raila Odinga, that's the Azimio coalition, to actually play an active role as, the opposition. So he said it's okay. I mean, if they're aggravated, they can definitely go to court, and they will be ready for that as well. But he was also challenging the Azimio coalition to actually be ready to actually be to play an active role as as an opposition. And you'll remember that's actually a very loaded statement, because he actually served as deputy president, and at a time he's actually during his campaign process was actually saying that, if were it not for the handshake, and I'm sure you know a period within the term, the 10-year term that President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto actually served, they came in with the handshake with the opposition, and perhaps the deputy president, the president-elect, now said that, that actually caused a weak opposition, and with a weak opposition, it actually caused the government not to perform as it were, or as it was meant to be. So, I mean, really interesting insights, to be honest. And what is actually great is that we're seeing them address the press. Straight after he was announced president-elect, Dr. William Ruto sat with the press, both local and international press, and he said, you know what, I'm your friends, I'll be having this conversation, just ask me any question you have. So, of course, the question about their relationship with the President Uhuru Kenyatta came up. It's a question about, the opposition, the question that they kept on repeating, that he's lending an olive branch to the other side to work and ensure that he can deliver on the promises that he set out to do in his manifesto.
Okay, so the other question is, three more questions. One of them is, are you journalists in Kenya concerned that Uhuru Kenyatta has not spoken yet publicly about this election?
Not quite. We feel that he's actually spoken through his proxies, if I may. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta is the chairman of the Azimio coalition. And seeing Raila Odinga speak earlier today, it is deemed that, President Uhuru Kenyatta has, spoken through his preferred presidential candidate. Now, you'd also notice at the room, of course, the bite only had his face on it, but you notice on his left and right, we had the Azimio principals, and the room, which is at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, if I may, was actually packed with leaders, various leaders from different political affiliations that particularly have subscribed to, supporting the president. So, as much as he hasn't spoken, I think he's also getting advice. Remember, we've had also communication from the National Security Advisory Council, which is, squarely, very core in the State House. And of course, he's now trying to look at, where's the country headed? How's the security of the country? So I feel like he has a lot on his plate right now, for instance, and he might not want to pronounce himself at this stage, especially because, I think it's going to go the legal way, and maybe perhaps even after swearing in, we don't know, but definitely. And that's a question actually the journalist posed to Dr. William Ruto, the president-elect. And this is what he said. He has not spoken to him, but he had spoken to Raila Odinga. But he hoped that he would have a chance to speak to him, especially after this pronouncement. Okay, so I don't know why you're asking that, Paul, because what's interesting, I mean, we were looking at different presidents in Africa sending congratulatory messages on Twitter to the president-elect. I'm not sure I got the congratulatory message on Twitter from Nana Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, the President of Ghana. So maybe it's something that we're going to see as we go along.
But which presidents have yet? Which
presidents? Africa, Rwanda, Uganda.
Which presidents have yet congratulated William Ruto? Do you know which presidents? Has Cyril Ramaphosa, for instance? Has Paul Kagame, for instance? Your neighbors.
Yes,
Somalia is disabled, but I can talk of Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. Has he come out to say something?
Yes,
give us the list.
They have. Yes.
Who's the list?
All the lists, all the presidents that you've mentioned have all sent out congratulatory messages. We've seen that through the presidential communications director. That's the president-elect. That's William Samoei Ruto, communications director. That's Hussein Mohammed. If you look on his Twitter profile, I mean, he's just been sharing details of the presidents who've taken to Twitter to actually congratulate the president-elect. I don't have the full list, but you mentioned the president of Rwanda, president of Uganda, president of South Africa, we've had the president of Somalia. So we've had all these regional neighbors, if I may. Oh, and Ethiopia, I should mention. Ethiopian president, as well as the prime minister, has been able to send out his congratulatory messages as well. So we see that as a good insight, if I may, in terms of even just seeing What does the regional community have to say about it? It's interesting because, I mean, remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta is the chair of the East African community. So it's also taking a very dicey diplomatic state right now. Depending on which side this goes, I'm sure none of the regional governments would want to be caught out in a whole stalemate, which is, who won, who was not won. They don't want to keep a very cordial relationship with the next president.
Let's do some African regional politics now. So it looks like East and Southern Africa, you've had the main guys congratulate William Ruto. I didn't ask about Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe, has he also come through with a congratulatory message to William Ruto? Do you know?
Up until for the time of this call, I did not manage to see that. I could already confirm for those that I actually, saw through the verified accounts, for Rwanda, Uganda, and the countries that I've mentioned. For the rest, I'm sure they'll keep streaming in. But I think the presidents are also following advice from their teams in terms of, is this the best time to actually send out congratulatory messages, or should we wait until, we have the inauguration of the case going to court, especially at this moment when Raila Odinga has actually announced that he's, going to pursue legal,
I'm guessing,
legal redress. So, yeah.
I'm guessing that you might not get any message from Ghana, because here in Ghana, we are accustomed to waiting for the election petition. We have done 2 election petitions. We're very used to it. I suspect that former President John Dramani Mahama, who is very close friends with both Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, and our President Nana Akufo-Addo, who is good friends with Uhuru Kenyatta as well, will not send a congratulatory message now that we know the matter is going to court. Most likely they will wait for the court. But that brings me to my next question. So Uhuru Kenyatta is president of Kenya until when?
Until swearing in.
Which is what date?
The question is, when is the swearing in? I'll give 21 days. We'll say that because the 21 days will kick in after the 7 days have already elapsed. Now, the 7 days are the days that are allowed for anyone who has any dispute to actually present their case. So I wish I'd give you a date right now. So we don't know. Is the Azimio Coalition legal team going to present their case tomorrow, day after tomorrow? Of course, looking at it in terms of business hours or government hours, it has to be before Friday at the set time. And the statement from the judiciary read that they should actually present by 1400 hours from the time of placing in the, I should pick that statement quite well, but they actually gave a set time up to when you need to submit the documents. And remember, these are tons of documents because you need to gather evidence, you need to gather the results, you need to gather all this stuff. And then it's usually a spectacle, I must say. You see trucks and trucks of files being placed into the the chambers, that is the courts. So I think we leave that for the legal space to take in. But in my estimation, if you look at it, we're looking at about say mid-September, end towards September, when this can get out of the way. And the question is, are we going to go through a rerun? So I mean, let's see how the courts rule, to be honest, because the 21 days are when we get the judgment. Now, the question is, what's the judgment going to be like? Then we know how we get from there. But as it is, we have a president-elect. His name has already been gazetted. News on the ground is that, he's gotten extra security in his home. I'm sure his current home has also gotten security beef up. So basically taking a presidential approach into it. So up until then, William Samoei Ruto has been gazetted as president-elect of the Republic of Kenya. The congratulatory messages seem to go well with it. So let's see how it goes. We've had a statement from the American Embassy right here in Nairobi stating that we've had peaceful elections, calling on Kenyans to actually go back to day-to-day duties. Calm has resumed in Nairobi, and especially the hotspots. And hotspots here, I mean, the backyard of Azimio coalition leader, that's Raila Odinga, and also the backyard of William Samoei Ruto, which of course is in jubilated mood. So I actually can quote one of the residents of Kisumu who said that, he has had a stab at the presidency for the last 5 attempts, and there you look about about 25 years. So as the residents of Kisumu, we are really, we just want to move on, basically. So that's quoting a resident up on national local television earlier today. We don't know how this will flow, but I think the rallying call across the country is that this should be a peaceful process, and the ball is actually at the courts right now.
Okay, let me ask you a final funny question, Laban, and I'm asking the question directly with you. One more will come though, but a question for you. Why didn't you vote for Raila Odinga, Laban? Why didn't you vote for Raila Odinga?
I'm not mentioning who I voted for, and this is for for security reasons.
Okay, I get that.
Anyway,
who do you think that PLO Lumumba? Who do you think that PLO Lumumba voted for? Here in Ghana, we are very accustomed to the rhetoric, the lyrics, and the narrative of PLO Lumumba across Africa, and an African Renaissance sort of narrative he carries. Lumumba found himself in the election petition the last time as one of the lawyers on behalf of President Kenyatta. Right now, an election petition is coming in again. Lumumba is still a big public figure in Nairobi and in Kenya and in Eastern Africa. Who would you say that but PLO Lumumba voted for?
Thanks, Paul. I think, and just give you a bit of background, I served in the president's office before I went back into, so I had a stint after my time at the National Media Group for 5 years as a business news anchor. I jumped into the president's office, particularly the president's delivery unit, which is something that, of course, Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, has in his team, which is the delivery unit. And this was under the Tony Blair Institute. I worked in the President Uhuru Kenyatta's office as a communications director, particularly in charge of projects communication, and now back into the newsroom. So I have a bit of understanding in terms of government operations and really how it flows. And I think it's the vision of any president to make sure that his vision, his key takeaways are actually carried on to the next presidency. Of course, granted, there was a tiff after the handshake between the president and his deputy then. Of course, as staff, we really don't get involved into the politics of it. Ours is to really get the job done. And I'm speaking this in hindsight because right now I'm back into the newsroom. We'll say PLO Lumumba is a celebrated African icon. I mean, he's actually served in the Anti-Corruption Commission, and he's been very instrumental in ensuring that the rule of the law is upheld. So I feel like he would go with perhaps what President Uhuru Kenyatta would actually prefer for the country to, have as their next president. So I'm sure I should ask him. I've seen his speeches across, but his rallying call is also on ensuring that we actually have peace. He's been quoted across Africa, across the continent, saying that, first of all, we're a mature democracy. If you remember, Paul, just a few weeks ago, we had the president's debate, which we had candidates come on stage. Of course, Raila Odinga did not show up, but we've had, William Ruto come in, and even just for the fact that we had a presidential debate, something that was really especially deemed not to be African, it actually shows that Kenyans are coming to that level, and Africans in general are coming to that level, which is, we want to question the leaders. We want to really know exactly what they want. Now, it's one thing, yes, for President Uhuru Kenyatta to have his preferred candidate, but what we have actually seen is that, the voice of the people is coming in strong in terms of saying, who are we going to have as the next president? I think once we get time into this and analyzing the results, you'll actually see that I feel like even among the president's team or among the president's family, for instance, you'd actually notice that they voted pro William Samoei Ruto as against Raila Odinga as his preferred candidate. So the question is, what message is that communicating? And I know, Paul, as journalists, you'll always look at the numbers, but as journalists, you always try to get the story from the numbers. How is it that in the president's backyard, they actually, voted overwhelmingly for William Samoei Ruto, especially even after announcing about the tiff and about the, the issue they had, especially post the handshake. So, to be honest, hats off to, PLO Lumumba, who's, of course, a learned friend, and I know he must be behind the scenes in whatever way, whichever legal side they'll choose, whether within the Electoral and Boundaries Commission or within Friends of the Court. I'm sure he'll show up as a friend of the court, or maybe represent Raila Odinga. We don't know, but I know, of course, after he served government, after being the chair, should I say, the DG of the Anti-Corruption Commission, PLO Lumumba is indeed a resource that we have as a country, and one of the top legal minds, a lecturer who celebrated both in Kenya and across Africa. So yeah, it's going to be a legal showdown.
Okay, we'll leave you to go to bed, and we wait for our tickets for the inauguration. We'll fly all our crew on your wallet to Nairobi and give you a good coverage.
One question to you: do you think your president will show up for the inauguration, whichever side this goes?
I believe so. I believe once the court has resolved it and we have an obvious winner for Kenya, President Akufo-Addo will be there at the inauguration. I believe so.
Feedback on our social media performance on information. How do you find, because the concern has been that, there's always internet shutdown. There's always, a very tense period. I don't know. Have you struggled to get information of Kenya in social media?
No, we haven't, and we are we applaud that. The only thing that we are concerned about is we finish our elections in 48 hours, and we carry along about 11 million or so voters, and within 48 hours we're able to declare the results. So we're quite concerned that 48 hours after the election, we still don't know what has happened. And we're also concerned about 4 electoral commissioners being able to say that they do not agree with the declaration. We think that's a bit messy, and we are not used to that in Ghana. Somebody put up a tweet on Ghana: if this had happened in Ghana, what would we have done? We've never had that situation in Ghana. Every time the electoral commissioner, who is the returning officer, announces the presidential election, he's in the company of all the rest, and it goes smoothly. But we think Kenya is demonstrating that there can be diversity in unity, and it's a plus for Africa.
Fantastic. Well, let's wait and see. It's going to be a very interesting few weeks for us in the newsroom. Cannot wait to keep you updated with what's happening on this side.
Thank you, Laban. We'll come back to you on Thursday when we have another show to find out what the latest is. But congratulations, all of you journalists working out there in Nairobi. Congratulations. You did a fantastic job.
Hats off to you as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's Laban from Nairobi. That's our first story. Major things coming up. We're going to take you now into the legal processes and how it works in Kenya. And then we're going to do the relationship between what has happened in Kenya and what may happen in Ghana. Why are Dr. Bawumia supporters excited about William Ruto's victory? But how come that something that excites Dr. Bawumia supporters also excites Alan Kyerematen's supporters? And how come John Mahama was not able to mend the bridges? And what are NDC supporters saying? How is the omen, the wind blowing from Nairobi? If it blows into Ghana, who is going to win? Who is going to lose? After the break, Good Evening Ghana is live with this and many more.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They too tall.
We'll handle the pressure and smash them on the break.
The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precisely.
There will be drama in the dying minutes.
This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
I'm tired and frustrated. After meeting all our targets, company cannot help us with our health needs.
Honestly, they are not helping us. Something has to be done about this.
You see, just yesterday I was at the hospital with my wife. And can you imagine the amount of money being charged? So outrageous.
Relax, guys. Just leave everything to me. Today I will deal with him accordingly.
You have to.
I surely will. Today. Sir, you want to leave. We are tired. You've been doing everything possible to ensure the success of this organization, but it looks like our healthcare is not taken into consideration. Am I speaking your mind?
Yes, you are.
And that is not fair.
Get a Cosmopolitan Health Insurance for all your employees today and have an easy life. Call us for your package.
Okay, guys, you are leaving because I have good news for you.
Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, providing the highest levels of coverage possible to our clients.
Madam Hisense, wake up.
Eka now we swear. Eka pa.
Madam Hisense, I'm Efra away.
Efra no se ka.
Madam Blender is swear.
Brenda no se ka.
Because you won't pump, but I can't.
Eka na fi we die aso. A Hisense factory direct promo. Factory direct promo no kire say. Hisense showroom babia. Enyeme wo mu nyina. Say dey turn no. Sa na ye turn no. Everything 29th August. I come 8th September. I'm on for ho.
Watch no fear no shop me. Saji neke ni ko no e. Sanojo.
Everything 29th August. I come 8th September. Madam Hisense, Matiti Susel. Who? Hisense.
Everyday prices for everyday people.
Let's place a bet on this afternoon's game.
And this evening's action, bro. And 3 more tomorrow.
Okay, remember, when I slow down, when I take a break, and I stop chasing losses and stick to my budget, that's when I'm going to have a lot more fun. So, let's place a bet on this afternoon's game. Bet responsibly. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply.
Let no one take the law into their own hands. We are pursuing constitutional and lawful channels and processes to invalidate Mr. Chebukati's illegal and unconstitutional pronouncement. We are certain that justice will prevail. I want to further commend the heroism of the 4 commissioners, the majority of the IEBC, who stood up to the bullying and the illegal conduct of Mr. Chebukati. We are proud of them and ask them not to fear anything. Kenyans are with them. Today, I do not want to fully address our strategies going forward, but suffice it to note that we will be pursuing all constitutional and legal options available to us. We will do so because we regard the many flaws in the elections and the wrongs committed by the IEBC as fatal to the process and the outcome announced by Mr. Chebukati. We urge Kenyans and the friends and partners of Kenya abroad to stand tall and be counted as we seek to advance the ideals of democracy and an open society that we have always stood for. We will pursue justice for our supporters and for all Kenyans so that their choices are respected and honored. May God bless you and may God bless Kenya.
What is that? Life is short, star. Me dash my dog, bro. Your problem of a gaka me dash my dog, bro. I tried many things in the fall, but me dash my dog, bro. Don't no true. Me dash my dog, bro. Monday, Tuesday. Every day. If you're my bad days. Monday. Tuesday. Every day. If you're my bad days. Mala fit malak ba mala grateful. Masa go my life I do la painful. Na mak boda do, man no da go mala plateful. If I thought say God no dey force I be ungrateful. No dey stress yourself. I trust yourself if you not kill yourself. Only you feel right yourself. You dey right yourself. I dey right myself. Big money I need it to function. You get wahala so I dey move with caution. Like I go shake body. Town no dey cry say won't get body. What is that? Monday, Tuesday. Every day, if you're my bad days. Monday, Tuesday. Every day, if you're my bad days. Now I cook by Odiga, or put up a foot or Hanoga, put up a guy or joggy, or property, or hoggy. Life is short, star, me dash my dog. Your problem of Pamga, me dash my dog. I tried many things in no fall, but me dash my dog. Toto neutral, me dash my dog. Monday, Tuesday. Every day, if you're my bad days. Monday, Tuesday. Every day, if you're my bad days.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Do you like my shirt? If you do, I'll show you where I got it from, and then let me do it well. I'll show you where I got it from so that you can get some. When I wore it this afternoon, somebody close to me said that you look like a pastor. Yeah, but I am a pastor, aren't I? All right, welcome back to the show. We're now getting into the politics of it, the nitty-gritty. We're going to talk about how does William Ruto's victory excite supporters of Dr. Bawumia. We'll come to that. Don't go away. Don't go nowhere. That's our big analysis for tonight. Let's, however, take this presentation. On Thursday, myself and a few friends of ours, group of friends, will be at Jolu. What we'll be doing, we'll be celebrating the second marriage of our good friend, Charles. Francis is his name. You know, we call him Pozo Rankin, so I don't know his real name. Last Friday, we had a lot of fun somewhere in Accra. And on Thursday, we will be adoring his wife, his new wife, and we wish him the best. It is my privilege to take this opportunity on behalf of, to take that opportunity that my producers have given me to spend 2 minutes celebrating a friend of mine. Here is Pozo Rankin on the right and his bride-to-be on the left. They will be celebrating their marriage on Thursday. Those of you who know Uncle Kofi and others, we will wait for you at Jolu. Pozo Rankin, congratulations. And the party is on Saturday somewhere in East Legon. It's going to be great. Marriage celebration is always nice. And whilst I do that, let me also say that congratulations to other people who got married this weekend. Bridget Otu, our own staff, got married this weekend. And Sam George, as for Sam George, the video in which he was singing that has gone viral, I'll play it for you. I'll find it and then we'll deal with it. Okay, so that's our activity, private activity for Thursday and Saturday, celebrating the marriage of our friend Francis Pozo. Congratulations. Let me come to my social media editors just before I go to Alhassan. Bello on the touchscreen. Bello, are you ready for it? Okay, so Bello is going to tell us quite a bit. He's going to tell us about the situation in Kenya and he's going to relate it to the situation in the sub-region, but he's going to give us some breakdown on how the tribes in Kenya voted. Of course, I couldn't ask that question to the Kenyan journalist because he's Kenyan. We don't want to get him into controversial areas, but Bello is going to talk to us about that just for the education of our viewers. Bello is ready for that. After Bello will come Kwekwe Japong, who is then going to tell us the legal processes that the whole Kenyan election petition will be going through according to the law in Kenya. After that, we will do our political analysis. Bawumia, Alan Chemate, John Mahama, William Ruto, Raila Odinga, Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. Why is all that relevant? It's coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's coming up for it. And I do also have a message for Murtala Mohammed, don't I? I do. We will see that on the touch screen. All right. Let me start with you, Christabel. What do you have?
Coming from Alex to 4 out of the 7 members of the Electoral Commission rejected the results, and Odinga is now heading to the Supreme Court. So the election was not free and fair, and it will be better to wait until the decision of the Supreme Court. Alex to 4, Hamburg, Germany. Sorry. Also coming from Togbe, Ngorifiaga. It is 25 counties with 50% plus and not 24 as you have said. Ruto won 39 of the counties with 50.489 or 50.49%, while Raila won 25 of the counties with 48.8%. With regard to the mathematical crisis, it all boils down to who is doing the rounding up. Apparently, it does appear the 4 IEBC commissioners have not really averted their minds to their own mathematical errors, and it seems everyone who would base their legal tussle on the numbers would have a Herculean task proving a contrary numbers. Clearly, we must commend the EC of Ghana for doing a yeoman's job. Compared to IEBC of Kenya, the EC of Ghana is definitely a standard for most of the countries in Africa to benchmark. And lastly, coming from Samuel Ofosuban, good evening, Paul and your disciples. The NPP fraternity mustn't make a mistake to repeat the ignoble situation as in 2008 parliamentary and presidential elections, which to Ghanaians of their expectations. The NPP governmental strategy is preferable to the average Ghanaian. That is why when they take erroneous decisions, the citizens intentionally feel flabbergasted and angry. The rot being created by some factions must be cleansed by National Executive Committee immediately to set the party to its toes for winning the 2024 parliamentary and presidential elections. The wind that's blowing in Kenya is shaking some big political parties aspirant in Ghana. God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
So Safianu Adam says, good evening, Paul. The 0.01 figure, which translates to around 140,000 plus votes, is mathematically negligible but politically insignificant. So despite his old age, the man has the right to discredit and disagree the IEB results. Greetings to lawyer Gary Nimaku from Safianu Adam. And then this one is from Moses Washington. He says that watching you live from Odeneho Kwadaso Kumase. Happy for President-elect William Ruto. Peace must reign in Kenya. And then the last one is from Samuel Nyako. I watch this program with excitement every Tuesdays and Thursdays, full of education and current affairs. Kudos, Paul.
Emmanuel Martin already says, oh, congrats to William Ruto. Bawumia against Alan Cash. Hashtag breaking the 8. Baba Zamo says, congratulations to William Ruto. The NDC should also start preparing their court petition because they are going to lose massively and it will surely end in court. Mohammed Buhari says, good evening, Paul. The winning of Ruto has a significant influence on that of Ghana's 2024 election. A vice president winning an election isn't an accident. It's as a result of hard work and manifestation of competence. Here in Ghana, Dr. Bawumia has in all indication proved to be a competent leader who has clear vision of the direction of Ghana's prosperity. Even his opponents, including John Mahama, is preparing to speak on digitization after the NDC party has succeeded in collecting their party dues from their members on the digitalized agenda system they've continuously made mockery of. Hashtag DMB 2024, General Buhari, NPP activist.
Eugene Marfo in Ablegua says, I've just been thinking about what would happen if this Kenyan scenario should set in Ghana's election. Democracy steadily growing and taking diverse strikes in Africa. Michael D. Sese, watching us from Freetown in Sierra Leone, says, "Dear good evening, Ghana. The act of the EC boss in Kenya is a wicked hatred for Raila Odinga. Very wicked man." Okay. From Abduzati, he says, "International as usual. Today, no much comment, just in a corner, enjoying the educative program as usual. DMP project continues and remains, hoping Adoye to go and study the tradition of the Dombo, the NPP." And Daniel Akan Nindipo in Navarongo says, "The election of William Ruto as the president of Kenya has a relation to that of Ghana. It is a clear manifestation that Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia will be the next president of Ghana."
Okay, all right. So we will come to all that later on in our big political analysis. Let me now come to Alhassan Bello, who has quite a lot to tell us. So Bello, what do you have to tell us?
Well, let's start from the controversy that arose out of the election, the division within the Electoral Commission. So in his own...
It's very interesting. When Kweku comes, I'll be asking him what does the law say. But Laban seems to say that it is similar to Ghana. The returning officer for the presidential election is the Electoral Commissioner, the head of the Electoral Commission. So whatever he says, whatever she says is the final.
Yeah, but I think one of the opposition arguments was that he lacks the quorum because 4 were out.
No, there's no quorum like that according to Ghanaian law. Kweku will tell us when he comes in.
That was his argument, but he's also saying...
But he is the sole returning officer for the presidential election.
That is the argument of the opposition. That's one of the arguments.
That he's not the sole returning officer?
That out of 7, since the 4 are out, he lacks the... But that is subject to legality. Subject to legality.
No, I don't think he's right. You know, it came up in our election petition. Remember when the President Mohammed's petition, when Mr. Chikata tried to impress upon the court that Gina Dukwe Mensah is the sole electoral commission, that she must mount the podium. Yeah. The podium. It was sort of upheld by the court that yes, she is the sole electoral commissioner and her word is final. Whether Bosman Asari agrees or not, the law doesn't give Bosman Asari the space to express his disagreement. This is the sole returning officer. So what did he say?
He said, so I stand here despite intimidation and harassment. I took an oath of office to serve this country and have done my duty in accordance to the constitution and the laws of the land. This is self-open.
Oh, he found himself saying that?
Yeah. Then this is self-open.
That's not nice. That's not
This
great.
is self-open a can of a lot of issues.
He said, I stand here despite intimidation and harassment. From whom? He didn't say.
That is the issue now. Is it from the government side or...
I took an oath of office to serve this country and I have done my duty in accordance with the constitution.
That becomes difficult because in this case, Ruto, being an opposition, is still in government.
Ruto is the vice president.
Yeah, he's still in government, technically.
Yeah.
And then Raila Odinga, despite being an opposition outside government...
Seems like he's the government candidate.
The government candidate. So it becomes, the bigger question is who is intimidating who in this equation?
Very interesting. Let's move on. What else do you have?
And then this is the official gazette, which he has released.
That's very confusing when he said that. You know, the Laban told us that it's been gazetted. Yeah. So when you gazette it like this, and then the Supreme Court overturns it, what happens? I'm not sure why they do it like this in Kenya.
Yeah, go back to the election. You can't remember.
And then you change the gazette?
If the Supreme Court changes the whole thing.
If the Supreme Court can give one of 3 outcomes. Yeah. One, that the election was valid and that the declaration of William Ruto is valid.
Stands.
2, that there were some hiccups in certain areas and they will ask for re-election, or they will annul the entire process. Yeah. If they were to annul the entire process, what happens to this gazette?
This becomes invalid.
But that's why they shouldn't be in a hurry to gazette. In Ghana, we gazette very late.
If he has to do his work.
In America, they gazette sometime in March.
Well, I don't know why he chose
after the November election, after the January swearing in. America gazettes in March, something like that.
I don't know.
We gazette much, much later. But I'm not sure why they are in a hurry to gazette. So this is the official gazette. Yeah. What does it say?
Gazette number 9773, the Constitution of Kenya, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act. Number 9.
So it is saying that William Ruto is what?
In short, he's saying
President-elect.
Yeah, based on this article of the Constitution, Ruto is President-elect, and then his running mate, Gachagua Rigathi, is the deputy.
Did they use the word elect?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's elected. That's it.
We have to look for it. Having been duly elected as the President and Deputy President, respectively, of the Republic of Kenya. No, I'm not sure this is great. They can't do that. Well, Kenya, I thought they were learning from Ghana, but it looks like they are.
The reason for this is that what if there was no court case?
Well,
So
if the court case, we know whether there's a court case or not within just 7 days of the declaration.
Sure.
Within 7 days of the declaration, people must file. So can't we wait for 7 days
Well, I don't know why
then to put out the Gazette?
I don't know why you chose that route.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on and see what you have.
And so far, this is the official result that he declared. Ruto had 50.49%, and then Raila Odinga got 48.85% of the vote.
Let's look at the difference in votes: 6.9 million to 7.1 million.
Would that give us about
That's 200 and something thousand.
33,211 or so.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah, very close.
For 13 million, was it? No, total votes was what in the end? 22 million registered voters. 15 sort of.
Yeah,
15 million voters
but
with 200,000 difference.
The turnout was around 64%.
Yeah.
Quite lower than the previous one, which was 71% or so.
Okay.
But
that's interesting. It's a winner takes all, so it doesn't matter by what margin.
I think at the top here, but at the parliamentary level, the election is based on party list.
Yes.
And that is the election. So at the presidential level, it seems Ruto has lost, Odinga lost. But if you look at the county election, it's almost neck and neck.
As in the representation in parliament.
Yeah, the representation in parliament.
The MPs that were elected.
Azimio has more seats than what do you call it, Kwanzaa.
No, but you see, this analysis has to be looked at within the context of the disputes between the president and the vice president. Because if you look, so which one is Ruto's party?
I think
is it Uhuru's party?
I think Ruto's party is Odinga's party, which is the Azimio Alliance.
That's Ruto's party.
No, Uhuru's party.
Uhuru's party
is with Raila Odinga.
Not Jubilee. Jubilee is gone.
Jubilee is an alliance with Ruto, ODM.
But some members of Jubilee left to join Ruto.
Yeah, to join Ruto.
Did he have to form a new political party?
So Ruto formed the United Democratic Alliance, which is his main
so
party.
Ruto formed a new political party, the United Democratic Alliance,
and then had
just to allow him to run on the ticket of that party.
And had such certain parties
join him,
which formed the Kenya Kwanzaa Alliance.
Okay.
And then ODM, which is Raila Odinga's main party,
original party,
yeah, Orange Democratic Movement, and Jubilee Party, which Ruto left.
Yes. Jubilee is the one, the ruling.
Yeah, the ruling party was now in alliance with Raila Odinga's ODM to form the, what do you call it, Umoja.
So we will suggest that President Kenyatta whipped Jubilee to join Raila.
Sure.
Or brought Raila to Jubilee, whichever way we look at it.
Sure.
And that impaired William Ruto's march to the presidency. So he exited to form his own party.
Sure.
So it's a party that's 2 years old, 1 year old. How old?
Sure.
Very.
I think less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years old.
It was somewhere last year.
And they win the presidential election. And he got MPs from Jubilee to join him, to leave Jubilee and join him. And some of them were elected. So who is controlling parliament now after the election?
Per the result, Azimio has the lead, I think, with some few votes. We'll get to there. We'll get there.
Oh, that's interesting.
But that's something I see.
So the party that presented Raila, the coalition that presented Raila, won parliament. But they lost the presidency.
So
it's controversial.
So it seems Ruto benefits.
So they are going to have the Speaker of Parliament.
The Speaker of Parliament is actually, I don't know how they, but he's not a member of the seat.
I know, but
with
majority
with the hanging nature of the legislature, I don't know how they come to a consensus.
Is it hung or they have a clear lead
no,
in
just
the
a few
legislature?
majority.
About how many?
I think about 2 seats. Or 3.
2?
2 or 3.
Wow. Going to be very tight.
So I think Ruto benefited from anger against Uhuru.
It looks like that.
Because had Raila Odinga stood in opposition and left them to take the blame, it would have benefited him. See, if I have
say that again, that's interesting. That if Raila had maintained his opposition towards Uhuru and William Ruto's government, he would have been a better candidate. More acceptable.
You see, aside
you think his eligibility and electability would have been higher if he had continued in his opposition.
Sure.
That's interesting.
But you see, another thing is that aside the ethnic twist of the whole argument, there was the issue of bread and butter. And that played out in supposed Uhuru stronghold.
How did it play out? How did the bread and butter play out?
Mount Kenya region.
How did it play out?
Because the Kikuyus naturally have historically voted towards one bloc. But this time around, it seems Ruto really benefited from their vote.
Kikuyus are the tribe of Kenyatta.
Yeah.
And it was and they are the majority tribe. Not overwhelming majority, but the majority.
And they've historically voted in bloc.
And this time they voted for Ruto?
Ruto.
Could it not be that Ruto's running mate, who is now the elect vice president, deputy president as they call it in Kenya, had such big influence among Kikuyus, and therefore he drew the vote?
Yeah, he's a very good orator also.
He's a good orator?
Yeah.
Was he a member of parliament before?
Yeah, he has legislative experience.
Okay.
But then, what do you call it? Odinga also came with a Kikuyu candidate. Now I'm saying that it looks like if I have issue with the government.
The Odinga one, I'm going to discuss it when we get to the politics of it, about the female candidate that she presented.
Martha Karua.
And I was discussing it today with the researchers, and somebody was saying that maybe in Africa we should gather more data with elections. When we are doing elections, we should use the opportunity to gather more data. So the ballot paper must now have something at the back of it where you write your age, you are between 20 and 25, 30, and then you just take it. Yeah. So you take the paper and you are below, you are between 25 and 26, you take it. Male or female, you take it. Then we will be able to do some analysis with data to show that in this polling station, or in this constituency, the 5,000 registered voters who were women did not vote for the female candidate. That will help us in the future, so that we don't say that we are presenting a female candidate because they are 51 point something.
That would be an interesting. There's always this argument.
It should be. We should be able to do that.
This argument.
Original thinking should take us there. Let us have a ballot paper that gives there, so that when we finish the election, we don't just have this data that is in front of us, who won and who lost, but we have more data which says that ages between so and so voted for Raila. Ages between so and so voted for Ruto. And gender. In Ashanti, most men voted for Nana Akufo-Addo. In Northern region, most women voted for Dr. Bawumia. In this region, most men voted for President Mahama. That then brings out a lot more data for media, civil society, journalists. If we are thinking originally, these are the things we should be doing.
Very controversial because they believe that women themselves are their own enemies.
Fair enough, but that if we add this, it does not take away from, the lawyers can explain, but it does not take away from the anonymity of the voter, because that's always very important. Anonymity of the voter is important. If you say I'm between the age of that and I'm a man, except we don't want people to go into the ballot and take women when they are men. And there's no way to verify that.
It will be a policy formulation.
It is important for policy formulation.
How to formulate policies that are targeted towards the women.
Absolutely.
And women empowerment.
And for the candidate who is elected and for the candidate who loses, they all now have the data to show that, oh, women in Greater Accra voted for me, but women in Ashanti did not vote for me. What happened? For it? And then we can make the system better. So tomorrow, write to Bosman Asare. You know him, don't you? Sure. Yeah, he taught you. Yeah, write to Bosman Asare and tell him that something has come out from Good Evening Ghana. Maybe you should consider it for the next election. Anyway, let's move on.
And then there was this argument by the, what do you call it, the losing side.
Yeah.
Which is technically in government also, that the data is skewed to favor the opposition.
Yeah.
But then one strong civil society organization in Kenya, which is the Election Observer Group.
Election Observer Group, OEG.
Yeah. ELOG. Have their own parallel voting tally.
So you call them like a Cordio?
Yeah, something like Cordio.
All right. What do they have?
They did their own parallel tally, hand in hand with what the EC was doing. So this is the result they came up with. So over here, we have the official result as declared by the EC. And here we have their own, what do you call it, tally. And the margin of error is 2%. So you could see that even if 2% is added to, what do you call it, if the percentage is added to, what do you call it, Ruto's case.
But they came up with similar figures.
Similar figures.
So they sort of think that there was nothing wrong with the election.
Yeah, they agreed that.
But Laban told us that from the publication of the results, you can calculate in your room as a journalist.
Everything was uploaded.
Yeah, so all the 47 counties, constituency by polling station, so every ballot paper that was counted has been accounted for. So what is the case of William Ruto? What did he really say in the...
I think there was this rancor that emerged in the final telegram where they called the boomers. And I think David Wahiga, one of the candidates, here.
Yes.
Later, he made a press conference.
Let's look at the candidates again. Let's keep it on. Okay. So what did Wahiga say?
He organized a press conference and he blamed the Azimio coalition for the rancor that emerged.
Who is Azimio coalition?
That is, what do you call it?
Raila Odinga's coalition.
And Uhuru coalition.
He blamed them for the rancor that emerged at the commission.
At the commission, at the county.
During the declaration.
At the tally ground. No, there was this confrontation in the tally ground where people were intruding into the ground itself. So there's this rancor here and there. So he's blaming them for that.
Okay, but he's accepted the results?
He accepted the result and
this one too accepted the results?
Congratulated.
So they've all sent their congratulatory messages. Only Raila didn't. Yeah. But in his press conference, you've listened to him. Did he point to anything? Because if, for instance, you look at Akufo-Addo's press conference of 2012, he pointed to overvoting, voting without verification, the ballot papers that were the voting that took place on the second day. He pointed to some 6 or 5 irregularities. drawing it from the law and said that these are the observations we've made, and so we are going to court. President Mahama also pointed out to a few things. Fundamentally, they talked about the declaration of Jean Mensa that it was a mistake, it was wrong, and the calculation didn't add up. So what did Raila really say?
I think one of the weapons in his hands is the fact that there was a discord between the Electoral Commission.
That's not enough.
And then another thing was that you see...
But those commissioners who are disagreeing, what are they saying?
They are saying that the process is opaque.
What's the meaning of that?
That's the problem.
If a journalist can look at the process and say, I can calculate it myself.
And that is the problem.
I can do every calculation myself. How then do commissioners come and say it's opaque?
And not even in 2017, there was also a division within...
Oh, there was?
Within
so
the
it's historical.
So it's not new to Kenya, perhaps.
Okay, let's move on. We have
and then the similarity and the issue of precedent allowed the judiciary to just deal with the issue very quick.
Okay.
And also this is just a short profile of each candidate.
Okay. He was born in 45, 77 then?
Yeah.
I see.
And then he was once jailed under Arap Moi when there was a failed coup in 1982.
For being sort of responsible for it?
And then he later joined his father's Forum for Restoration of Democracy in Kenya, just in the 90s. But he has this
What is his background in terms of the work he did? Or he's been in politics all the time?
No, he was in business.
What did he do? He's a businessman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then along the line, from the 90s contested election, he was once an MP.
Yeah.
In 97, he placed third in an election in which that was the second. The multi-party democracy was installed in the 90s. So Arap Moi won his first term. In the second term, there was this election between Moi and Kibaki, which Kibaki lost and came second. He placed third.
Okay. Let's look at the other things. We don't have much time.
But another thing about Odinga is that he has this tradition of joining powers. He once went into an alliance with Moi to form New Kanu and was hoping to be given some leverage or being the position of prime minister. But when he realized that Moi was breaking the agreement in 2005, then he formed the ODM. Then he joined the, he later went with Kibaki to form the National Rainbow Coalition that unseated.
That then won many elections.
And there was this argument that around that point in time, Moi was also trying to groom Uhuru Kenyatta as his successor.
Let's quickly talk about the Uhuru Kenyatta factor. They did work, they did not work. What happened?
Uhuru Kenyatta factor?
Yes, the Uhuru Kenyatta factor in this election.
I think it didn't work.
It did not work.
For the presidential
yes,
it didn't work.
It did not work. Oh. Well, you can say it did not work because he didn't win. But without Uhuru Kenyatta, would he have gotten 48%? Given the history you are giving of him, it looks like he has a little bit, permit me to say, quote and unquote, a trust deficit with the Kenyan people.
Perhaps more like a desperation for power.
Yes, he has a trust deficit. So people don't trust him because of the flip-flopping.
Just like Atiku. Some will say Atiku flip-flop.
Oh, we don't want to go there yet.
I'm just trying to
we'll come after you soon. So we'll talk about Nigeria. We have a lot of time to talk about Nigeria.
So
but
he has this
if he suffers the trust deficit, which is completely devastating in politics, no politician should suffer a trust deficit. Once you suffer a trust deficit, you are in trouble. Now, it looks like he does. Without President Kenyatta's support, would he have arrived at 48% of the vote? Or is it the Uhuru Kenyatta factor that brought him all the way almost to the finish line?
He would have gotten a very huge margin, but then Uhuru Kenyatta factor equally played a role in giving him that mileage. Because as if what do you call it, the floating voters might look at issues, but for the hardcore party supporters and loyalists, they will have problem with him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because even the parties that presented themselves for the election were not available 5 years ago. That's also very interesting with Kenyan politics. You see, once in Nigeria, the parties remain and the people change dramatically from one end to the other. In Kenya, what we are finding is that the parties collapse and they form new ones.
Especially when a new party is coming into power, the old party leaving government dies totally.
Completely. So they don't have a party that has been there.
With the rise of the Rainbow Coalition, Kanu went into comatose.
They don't have a party that has been there for 5-6 elections. They don't have one.
Well, Kanu is still there but irrelevant.
I see. That's interesting. I think that's our takeout from this one. Kenya has a system where political parties come and go like anything else. Then the actors, the principal actors, remain with different colors.
And that also
in Nigeria,
similarly,
political parties are there, but the actors can change anyhow. So you have a blue actor comes to red, red comes to blue. But in Ghana, we have the political parties remaining.
We have the political tradition.
They've been there forever. We have the traditions.
We also have that ideology.
And we have individuals who are within this party will never cross.
I think the issue is two. You know, in the course of the struggle for independence, there was this kind of dual parties in the context, and it was more like serious democratic contest. But in the course of these countries, for example, in the Southern African issue and Kenya, for example, it was more of a race and land issue.
More than real politics and policy.
More than real politics. So if you look at those places, you hear the parties having African National Union, to distinguish the blacks against the settler population.
Yeah, that's true. Same with the African National Congress,
ANC.
Same with ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe. Same with the Kaunda's party in Zambia.
Same with the MPLA in Rwanda. So
MPLA
that struggle was fueled by the issue of the land and the race issue. So there was no really...
Ours was a conversation about policy and philosophy.
And that is
which
why,
I think was
and that is why Ghana is even a bit more stable than Nigeria. Because if you look at Nigeria's struggle for independence, it was more like a choreograph something. From 56, there are these series of conflicts.
And it was always thinking about 3 nations as one.
Because the British didn't want to leave a bifurcated Nigeria, wanted to make sure the polity they had created survived. So it was more like the 3 tribes coming to Georgia.
Yeah, so it was always about the tripartite leadership.
And that neglected the interests of the minority. But because we had that serious competition, that dialogue, that discussion, that competition, and there was this ideological divide. So we have more of party tradition.
That's a question. Do you think that the coup d'etats, the intervening coup d'etats in Ghana, were all sort of left wing? So the right wing suffered, did it? In terms of the history in Ghana?
Yeah, I think, and that is what gave the right wing a mileage with the restoration of democracy.
You're right about that. And that's why the press
they were seen as
joined the right wing in the 1992 period.
They were seen as the voice of the people, those campaigning for freedom, because the left wing along the line really sided with the military coup d'etat.
Or the military sided with the left wing. Okay, Bello, let's end it here. We don't have much time. We might not.
But let's look at the regional implication.
Yes, please. Let's do that. Yeah. And as I talk to Bello, Kweku, please get ready. We need the legal analysis to come on board.
When you come here.
Okay. Excellent. So this is the map.
Yeah. But then, this is South Sudan.
South Sudan is over there. Yeah, it's better if it's bigger so viewers can see it well.
South Sudan is in flux, don't forget. Ethiopia has issues around Ogaden, although in the northern part. Somalia is unstable. Central African Republic is unstable. So any instability here.
Democratic Congo is unstable.
At this point, it has never been stable. For Congo,
that's what they say. They say
Congo has never been stable.
You know what they call them? They call them too rich for peace.
Congo has never been stable. And there's this Rwanda factor here. And then there's also another. In South Sudan, it is more about what do you call it?
This is interesting. So Kenya is surrounded by Somalia. Al-Shabaab.
Yeah, and even around this
portion. You have Ethiopia, you have Djibouti, Eritrea, South Sudan. Uganda is stable though. Yoweri Museveni is in control of Uganda.
Stable.
Yeah.
Sudan is unstable.
Tanzania is stable as well.
Yeah, so these are the few stable
Mozambique
countries.
is not bad.
Rwanda is not. Burundi is not stable.
Rwanda is a dictatorship.
It depends where we
how you look at it here. I agree with you.
But then there's this.
But Rwanda is strong leadership. So
Rwanda is strong.
Call it
Rwanda is cool. So the issue is that in case of any instability, what form will it take? If we go by the 2007-2008 issue, it will have taken an ethnic twist. But if you look at the election around the results, Ruto did well around the Mount Kenya and Rift Valley region, which is where the clash was very intense. It seemed there was this convergence of vote towards one candidate, and that diluted the whole issue. And then secondly, the judiciary has shown more capacity to deal with election-related, what do you call it, disagreement
in Kenya.
Than previously.
Good.
But then the problem now is Al-Shabaab might capitalize on that to attack. And mind you, in between the border of Kenya and Somalia, you have ethnic Somalis occupying that terrain. And they have also have issues with the central government in Kenya. But as to how this current devolved government, post the violence, the new constitution, in as much as Kenya is a centralized state, it has this devolved arrangement where governors are elected for counties and they control such a huge chunk of fund.
I see. We have to end that. But that what you just said is interesting. Looking at President Uhuru Kenyatta's posture right now, if there were any disturbance from Al-Shabaab at the border, he might call a state of emergency. He might get the parliament to grant a state of emergency. And that will prolong his rule. And Ruto will complain about it.
But I think if you look at his posture, he has already accepted the verdict. He's going into retirement.
No, but the matter is now going to court. And if there are any disturbances within the next 2 weeks, which can be fomented by political interest in Kenya, political interest in Kenya can organize these guys and say, Charlie, let's do something. And then they start insurgents into Kenya, and they're approaching Nairobi. President Kenyatta will now have the mandate to call for a state of emergency to prolong his rule.
That was used
and call for a government of coalition.
Yeah, they failed
and ask Ruto to agree that Raila be his vice president.
Well, that would deepen the divide.
we should be looking at
because looking at the discord between the two sides, both Ruto and what do you call it?
President Kenyatta should now, if he's demonstrating perhaps his
Good
commitment, good leadership, he should be sending troops to the border.
No, Kenya has a deployment, a contingent troops
that are stationed there.
Somalia, and that is what is creating the backlash for Kenya and not Ethiopia.
Because the Somalis are resistant.
The Somalis have always had animosity with these two countries.
Okay.
So when
I have to leave it here, Bello. We will continue. We'll continue. Now, next I have Kweku on. He's going to give us the legal dimensions. We really need to do that before we close tonight. If we have to sacrifice something, we'll sacrifice my political commentary until Thursday. I know a lot of people were waiting for it because I also have to pay homage to the School of Administration who are here in the studio. Forgive me if I don't do the politics. It is coming hard on Thursday. Don't worry if some people pick it up and try to do it tomorrow on radio or TV. No problem. Don't worry about that. Just listen to that and listen to us on Thursday. We'll come to you with a lot more. Now, let me go to social media and find out what people have. I hope you are ready. Christabel.
Okay, so coming from Sapo Raphael Patrick. Oh, that's the front of Raila Odinga is normal to all of us.
Did we get 1K?
Take note. Raila Odinga is a regular customer of the Supreme Court. Raila has been a beneficiary of the Kenya politics and government. It's time for him to retire peacefully. Ruto is the 5th. Congratulations. Also coming from Saidu Soiree. Jubilee is the party of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, in which Ruto served as deputy president. Ruto United Democratic Alliance won both the parliament and presidency. And also coming from Chamba Kajuru. Paul of Good Evening Ghana. There is currently no one in the NPP who is well marketed than the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. It will be an advantage to the party to sell him than a new candidate. He, Dr. Bawumia, has been formidable in the party, government, and keeps playing a crucial role in addressing the needs of their citizens. It would be more prudent for the NPP to select him as its candidate to lead the party to victory come 2024, since his nomination as running mate for the President Akufo-Addo in 2008, and for the past 13 years, he has consistently maintained touch with party grassroots across the country. He has traveled extensively throughout the various constituencies, preaching party policies to members during campaigns and government policies whilst in power. Chamba Kajuru. And lastly, coming from Kwame Opon Kwarteng, people fail to read and go with headlines. Any serious person who followed the elections would know the great job the IEBC did. They uploaded the Form 34As, which is the polling station pink sheets in real time as they were declared. I, a Ghanaian, had access to it on their website and could add them myself. It's pathetic what Raila is doing.
This one is from Togwe Nuga Yufia. He says that, yes, Paul Adomotre, Bello is right. If you play the full video of Raila, which he already had a copy of, he raised the issue of quorum because a similar issue had arisen in the 2017. In the 2017 case, where the Supreme Court of Kenya had the 3 members of the commission can constitute a quorum. However, Article 138, Clause 4 of the Kenya Constitution is explicit on who must declare the results. He did not say the commissioners must agree to declare. So you are right about Chikbu Kati being the only returning officer. Again, on the mathematical issue, the 0.1% doesn't exist. Even by the claim of the 4 commissioners, the 0.1 would lead to 1,000, not 100,000, as the commissioners had claimed. On the parties, Uhuru's party is Jubilee Party, which did not contest the election. However, the Azimio One Kenya is Raila's party in coalition with other parties, including the Jubilee Party, while Ruto's newly formed party, UDA, on Kenya Kwanza. At present, the Raila Party control the National Assembly, while Ruto control the Senate. The Senate here. Remember, the Kenya system with both majority and proportional representations. Okay, this one is from Gasti Man. The opposition leader should not waste his time in Supreme Court because he won't because it won't help him. He has outsmarted the outgoing president for supporting him. It was a strategy for them to defeat him because the president knew he was unpopular at the latter days. And then last one, this one says, okay, this one is from PK Frames. When does the current team end of Uhura?
Nanaya Chilling says, Hassan Bello is a gem. Oh my goodness, just love his presentation. Paul Mensah says, Bello is very good, very knowledgeable guy. Baba R. Garba says, but wait, I thought the president didn't support the winning candidate, or I lie. Then it means that if we try to compare it to Ghana's election, then DMB won't win because he's just the one Nana has chosen as his successor. Just asking no.
So this is from Oparenyante in Takrade. He says, good evening. No, Paul, you cannot do it on Thursday. We want it now. Hashtag Paul, do it now. Michael EM Outlook in Accra says, great analysis done. Kudos to the GG team. From JC, he says, remind Paul that he's not a pastor, rather he's an apostle. Dr. Nyami Derek says, Honorable Kennedy Ajapong is the man we need now as Ghana is at a crossroads. We need his charisma, discipline, honesty, and intelligence to run this country. The youth of the country have hope in him because he can do it and we are for him. He says the system will work in Ghana.
Running out of time now. Kweku is here, and well, I know you want me to do it tonight. I want to do it tonight. We can stay up to midnight. Let's do it on Thursday, okay? Let's do it on Thursday. I'm going to show you why Dr. Bawumia supporters are happy about Ruto's victory, why Alan Kyerematen supporters are happy about Ruto's victory. Alan Kyerematen organized a mammoth coup d'etat in Ashanti this weekend where so many people turned up for his work. He himself did not turn up. He was not there. We anticipate that this is going to happen many, many times going forward. And how is the NDC also receiving this? All of this is coming up on Thursday. If you have any ideas about this, it's a program that belongs to all of us. We're going to now begin to open a portal. My social media guy is here. He's going to open a small portal where when we say things like that and you want to contribute to tell us how you think we should do it, what are you adding to the production, you can send it to him. So he'll put it out tomorrow, and then you can send it there. On this Thursday discussion, what do you think we should add? Let's do the program together. This program belongs to everyone, isn't it? Okay, great. Kweku is here. Lawyer, papa.
Not yet.
Not yet. Certainly not yet. I have to be careful. Please, not yet. Please, not yet. Okay. These are very slippery grounds. All right. Kweku, so now the election in Kenya has obviously gone into a dispute.
Yes.
What does that mean for the lawyers?
Money, because obviously there will be cases and there's an opportunity to develop Kenya's constitutional law regarding elections. So most definitely we have precedents in 2013 and in 2017 and then that would most likely be followed in 2022.
What does the law say at this time? What does the law say?
Okay, so the main law governing election petitions in Kenya is not, interestingly, is not the constitution. Well, the constitution lays down the foundation that it is parliament that's supposed to enact legislation for governing it. But we make reference to the Supreme Court rules, the Supreme Court election petition rules of 2017, that provides that within 7 days of announcements of the election results, any person who is aggrieved, and that's provided by Rule 9 of the rules, any person who is aggrieved is supposed to file a petition. Now, this is subject to certain considerations. The first is that you are supposed to make a security deposit for costs, and that is the sum of 1 million shillings. Converting that to cedis is 77,343 cedis, and then 34 pesos. And then when you are done, you are also supposed to once you have filed the petition is supposed to be stamped by the registrar of the Supreme Court and served on the other party. It's supposed to be served within 2 days. Service basically means you are making the other party aware that I have filed a petition against you, I'm sending you to court. And so within the 2 days, it may be made by serving it physically, i.e. going to the person, the other candidate, and giving it to the person, or it may be done by circulating it in a newspaper with national coverage, or it may also be done electronically. But if it is done electronically, it has to be served within 6 hours of filing of the petition at the Supreme Court. From there, the respondent, who then becomes the person who has been served, the person who's supposed to defend, then has 4 days to reply to their petition. Upon reply, pleadings have come to a close, and then the court will then set a date for a pre-trial conference, and then at the pre-trial conference, they then make certain considerations as how the trial would run, and then the trial begins. And masses are concluded.
Okay, so take us to what you have. So what is this? Is this the precedent?
Yes, please. So Odinga and 5 others versus the Election Commission and 3 others. These are the petitioners.
So this is what happened in 2013.
Yes.
This group of people, including Raila Odinga,
yes,
Dennis Intumba, Florence Sekon, and Moses Korea were challenging
African Center for Open Governance.
This was an amicus curiae?
No, they were an actual party.
Why were they party to the election?
No, and that's the interesting thing about Kenya's election.
The petition.
The petition. Because in Kenya's constitution, persons can actually sue. Unlike in Ghana, where it
has to be the losing candidate.
Yes. The affected
I see. That's
party.
Interesting.
So they are not politicians. They are private citizens. That's you.
So they join the action.
Yes.
So
in fact,
in
their
Kenya,
petitions
anybody
were different.
can join.
Yes, and in Kenya there can be different petitions. The court would just have to amalgamate it. So they did not agree to file a petition. They filed their petitions differently. These 3 filed one petition. Raila Odinga filed one petition. And then African Center for Open Governance filed one petition. So
the petition. So at this stage that the Supreme Court has opened up,
yes,
waiting for the 7 days to run, anybody can file. Any Kenyan citizen can file.
If you have your 77,000 CGs.
Oh, so they will take 77.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because so the court does not join it yet. They join it upon the pre-trial conference.
They consolidate it at that time.
But you can file separately.
I see. That's interesting. Okay, let's move
and then these are the respondents.
All right.
Ahmed Isaac Hassan at the time was the chair of the Independent Electoral.
Okay, so now does it require that the Independent Electoral Commission be sued?
Yes.
You know, in Ghana, the suit is the Ghana's own is delineated clearly. The suit can only be by the losing candidate.
Yes.
And he's suing the Electoral Commission as the first defendant.
Yes.
And then the winning candidate as the second defendant, the one in whose favor the declaration was made.
Yes, but it's also subject to certain considerations because if you are of the view that the losing candidate has a role to play, then you may add a person to the suit. Some things may be purely numerical. You believe that it is not to the interest of the losing candidate, or the losing candidate had nothing to do with the election or practice. Your main beef
So an election petition can occur in Kenya without the losing candidate participating?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Without the losing candidate participating.
Other people, and then if the ruling comes out that the election is annulled or that the election it's declared in favor of the losing candidate, he just picks it up.
Yes.
But can the court do that though? Is it part of the remit of the court?
Yes.
To declare a different winner from the one that the Electoral Commission declared? Because in Ghana, the court can do that. In fact, in 2013's petition, 2012-13's petition, the court was invited to do that.
To cancel some votes, and that would have made...
to cancel some votes and declare the losing candidate the winner. Can Kenya do that?
They can, but the courts are very wary. The reason is that the general principle is that the courts should be very slow in touching the views of the people, the voice of the people. So the courts can order a rerun, which they did in 2017. We'll see that subsequently.
Okay, let's go.
Most of them, these were the
judges. These are the most important people in Africa now. How many are they?
6.
6?
That's interesting because in Ghana it's supposed to be an odd number.
Everywhere is an odd number.
Yes, even.
Kenya is 6?
Yes.
6 people?
6 in 2017, 6 in 2013, 6 in 2017.
Okay, so 6 with 3, what do we do?
It's lost. It's considered lost.
Oh, that's interesting again.
So
the application is lost if the voting is even.
Yes. So I filed, it's supposed to be 4 in my favor. If I am the petitioner, it's supposed to be 4 against 2 in my favor.
So the burden of the petition is higher.
Yes. We'll get to the burden of which is a very, very, very interesting discussion.
Let's move on.
So the issues, whether or not rejected votes should be included, whether or not votes must be invalidated.
These are the issues that have already been filed?
No, these are the issues filed in 2013.
Okay. Somebody was arguing about rejected votes. That's interesting. I've always had a concern in Ghana about our rejected votes when they get so high.
Yeah,
like in 2008 and in 2020.
2008 was even third.
Yeah, it was third. I think the same with 2020. 2020 rejected votes were so high, and I'm very suspicious about why we get that level of rejected votes. Maybe you and I should conduct some research into that. Okay. So this is what the petitioner was saying then.
Yes.
Rejected votes should be included. Whether or not votes must be invalidated on the ground that there were numerous irregularities. I think this what won.
In this 2013,
this 13 was dismissed. Okay.
Yeah, it was dismissed.
17 is when they asked for a rerun.
But it's virtually the same, actually. Then that's the interesting thing. That's the grounds on which they also challenged in 2017 were similar grounds. So we may just discuss it and even gloss over.
Okay, let's move on quickly.
So the judgment is judgment without an E, but fine. The unanimous judgments, and they were unanimous. Okay, they held that the constitutional duty of the IEBC was to ensure that the authority was to conduct elections, and that all the steps they take in conducting the elections are supposed to inure to the benefits of the voter. right? And that's a general principle. But then came the issue of the standard of proof. So the burden and standard of proof normally goes together.
Yes.
Burden of proof is in two senses. The first sense is that the burden of proof is on the one who alleges.
Yeah.
Now, the standard of proof. When we say standard of proof, it means that to what extent is the burden of proof satisfied? The standard of proof here is higher than the civil standard, which is preponderance of probabilities, but at the same time less than the criminal standard.
That's
which
what
is
they used to tell us.
Beyond reasonable.
They used to tell us that in law school. Very confusing. So what then is the standard? So it's higher than the ordinary civil standard, which is balance of probabilities. And viewers, what does that mean? That just means that if there's a civil trial, the court will look at between Paul Adomotri and Kwekwe Japan, who is more likely to be telling us the truth. That's a civil standard if it's not a criminal matter. And the criminal matter, you have to establish it beyond reasonable doubt. So even if you have established it and significant doubt is raised, or even small doubt is raised, you have lost the case. Because criminal means somebody is going to prison and somebody's life is going to be taken or somebody's freedoms are going to be taken, and therefore we take it very seriously. So burden of proof, standard of proof for the Kenyan election is that higher than civil, but lower than beyond reasonable doubt.
And the rationale is that even though it's a civil matter, it is very important.
Let's wrap it up.
It's power. And then technological faults. So the court basically said that yes, there may be irregularities. However, the main test is that the irregularities must substantially affect the final results.
That's what they always say.
That is what we are looking for.
So it's not just irregularities simpliciter.
Yes.
They are looking for those irregularities that were consequential to the outcome.
Yes. But one interesting thing that was established in the Supreme Court consistently is what we call the Ryla Doctrine. So the Ryla Doctrine says that immediately any act in an election contravenes the Constitution, no matter whether or not it affects the end result, it should be violated. It should be void.
That's interesting. That was the argument that was made in the 2013 petition. That was the argument that Philip Addison and co carried. That if the process said voters must be verified, where any voter was not verified anywhere in the country, that vote must be annulled.
Yes.
Because it's a breach of the regulation.
And that's what we know as the Ryla Doctrine.
Did the court accept that?
Yes, in 2017
they did.
In 2013 they said, well, the main consideration should be, let's just see whether or not the final votes are affected. But in 2017, the court drew inspiration from Section 83 of the Elections Act of Kenya, Elections Act of Kenya, which provided that the rules or the conduct of the election must comply with the Constitution, or that any other irregularity must substantially affect the final result. The court held that it is conjunctive in the sense that you must show it is disjunctive, meaning either you show that there was a violation of the Constitution or that the final result substantially affects the will of the people. Any of these is sufficient to cause or to push the court to annul the elections.
Okay, let me leave it there. So what are we? So Supreme Court has one of three outcomes: either dismiss the application, ask for voting in certain areas, or ask for voting in the whole country, re-voting of everything.
Yes, that's by annulling. It has happened before. And when it happened, Uhuru won.
He won again.
He won again.
When the vote was done again.
Yes, he won again.
If it's done again, do you think the same outcome will occur? Oh, that's a question for the politicians. Let me not ask you that question. Okay, let me now go to School of Admin. Do you have some text messages? Let me take. Oh, are we ready? Sorry, I just looked at my studio and I saw that the sound man is still fixing microphones. So perhaps we are not ready for that. Let's take the text messages. Let me start with you, Christabel.
Okay, coming from Paulus Kaswa. Ghana under the leadership of President Nana Akufo-Addo will be successful and Ghana economy will surely bounce back again. So NDC must end their class 1 propaganda now. Greetings to Honorable Mavis Hawakumsen and Honorable MC Madam Anita. Also coming from Rafupuni, the next president of the Republic of Ghana is Dr. Bawumia. Also coming from Abbas Yinkansa. Discerning Ghanaians will vote for Bawumia to continue the good works of His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. Also coming from Ali Umar from UEW. Paul, I'm always clear in my mind that Alhaji Dr. Digital Bawumia will be the flag bearer of the NPP. No doubt about that. Even if Dr. Bawumia failed to win a presidential election, I bet you he will get majority seats in parliament. Also coming from Saidu Soaré. William Ruto's victory cannot be compared to the case of Ghana. He won under the ticket of the United Democratic Alliance, a party he forced after he was kicked out of the Jubilee Party by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta fell out with his deputy president, William Ruto. And lastly, from Ali Umar again, from UEW. Paul, can't Alan and Bawumia come together and form form flag bearer and running mate as well, because I think that is the ultimate way to silence the NDC for 2 decades to come.
Nana Oheneba Abradu says, Paul, I've been watching this show since inception, and I must confess, it has been outstanding upon outstanding. God bless you and your team, and the good content you give us and your disciples each and every week. And this one is from Wages Ose. He says, good evening, Paul. Over the years, you've always given us something new. I really like the way you deal with issues on the table. Your production is top-notch. I cannot say much, but all I can say is, God bless you for doing this.
Chamba Kajarua says, Paul, we are not going to bed until we are not going to bed. We are listening to you. Roland Agbanu says, this one of the best programs I ever watched from Roland Agbanu says, this is one of the best programs I've ever watched. I equal to you, Paul.
Okay. Now, Atongo Sukura says the MPP party can sing all kinds of songs or propagate all kinds of propaganda, and they will still lose the 2024 elections. Right. This is from Paulus Nkaswa. He says Ghana under the leadership of President Nana Akufo-Addo will be successful and the Ghanaian economy will surely bounce back. So the NDC must end their class 1 propaganda now. Okay. Right. And this one says, Kennedy Ohene Ejipong has got nothing to give you except the gifts you need to make money. Ken will not give 50 cedis to delegates, but will show you how to embark on sustainable living, to have capacity to give other people 50 cedis. Like Peter said to the layman at the beautiful gate, silver and gold we do not have. What we have is what we give to you. This is from Kwame Oheneba Esuman. Paul, over to you.
All right. Okay, I need to take it out from here now and get our School of Admin people. The School of Admin is an enviable school at the University of Ghana. It churned out many important graduates, and they are celebrating 50 years, is it? 60 years. Yes. And I have 2 of their compatriots here, 2 senior lecturers to help us understand, and we kept you waiting. Sorry about that. Okay. The politics sometimes takes over the show.
Absolutely.
I know you guys are not political at all, but forgive me. Okay, let me start with you. What is there to know about School of Admin?
Well, thank you very much.
Or now you call it business school.
The
Sorry.
business school.
I'm old, so the older people call it.
Yeah, no, Paul. When you were there, I was there too. So I in Legon, and we were proud of School of Administration, and our older folks are proud of School of Administration. But we had to, contemporary times in management education, so we moved in 2004 to business school. And like you just said, business school has reached out every part of Ghana. Every institution in Ghana you enter, you can count. In fact, you take a census of our impact. Talk about the legal profession, talk about media, talk about industry, talk about everywhere we have. And so 60 years we have come far. We think that the impact that the school has made deserves some celebration and acknowledgement. But of course, importantly, to reflect on these 60 years and what experiences we've gone through. And with the inception of COVID and the changing trend in management education, we are actually reflecting on how we're going to be charting the next 60 years ahead of us. And so this week we declared it as the Management Week, and the Management Week is in its 42nd year, established in the 1970 to celebrate our accomplishment and to reach out to our folks in industry and to create a synergy between academia and industry. So we are celebrating 60 years of our existence, and it's coinciding now with our 42nd anniversary of Management Day. And tomorrow is the climax of the event, and we will be meeting to celebrate our 60 years and to reach out to our numerous alumni out there and to say, hey, your school has come a long way.
So what's happening at the school tomorrow? When we come on the ground, what are we going to see? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for the 42nd Management Week celebration, or for the climax of which is tomorrow, but that's separate from the 60th anniversary. So in fact, when the school started, somewhere along the line, then the Management Week was instituted. So though the school is 60 years, the Management Week, we are in the 42nd show, should I say, window.
That's still quite enviable.
Yeah.
42 years of Management Week celebration.
Exactly. So for tomorrow, it's where we like to bring the, industry and academia within one space, and we deliberate on issues. The theme for tomorrow is looking at how public institutions and the health system is going to play a role in part of our journey going forward. Normally with the Management Week celebrations, we run, or should I say we rotate among the departments. The school is made up of about 6 departments. So we've got accounting, we've got finance, we've got public admin and health, we've got operations, management, HR, and then so every season it rotates. So this time it falls within the ambit of the public administration and health services. So their focus is on the public institutions that help govern the nation, as well as the health system, because that's the unit that is responsible for training the people that come into that sector. So tomorrow we are speaking to the issues of how the public institutions and the health system will be featuring in our quest towards what a better Ghana in terms of
the health system.
Yes, because we do train health services managers and public administrators in
yes.
unit.
So you do you train people for public health.
Yeah,
not the public health.
so we have
public administration.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
So we have public administration,
MPA,
and we have
and
we have health services management.
Yeah.
So you go to every hospital in Ghana, there are the professionals who are not medical doctors and nurses. They are the managers there. So you have health administrators, and they are trained for a very long time. It was the only one in fact in West Africa, and in Ghana we're the only one training health managers. So every health administrator you find is definitely coming from.
Do you do that at undergrad level or postgrad level?
Both. Yeah. So we do that as the undergrad level as Bachelor of Science in Administration, Health Administration option, and then we have the MBA in Health Services Management. And so this year, together with public administration, because that's one department, we are looking at how we can build effective institutions, public sector institutions. We're looking at how to build resilient health sector institutions. COVID has taught us lessons. And not just the health sector, but public administration institutions worldwide were really hit. And the level to which we are able to get them to rebound and to be able to respond to creating the environment for businesses to be able to strive, for us is an important consideration. And so we are focusing on that tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have the Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Yao Dichum, who will be our keynote speaker. We have the Head of Civil Service speaking. We have another person speaking from the Ghana Health Service. And then our Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Gordon Awandare, you know him, he will chair the event because our Vice Chancellor will be engaged somewhere else. And of course, we are going to, there will be a host of companies and organizations showcasing their products, and our students will be engaged in a lot of activities as well.
That's interesting. And so what's the theme of the 60th anniversary is going to take? So
the 60th anniversary, the theme is actually the future of business education. And then we are reflecting on the 60 years of UGBS's like the experience we've had. So clearly after 60 years of being the premier business school providing business education, what we have to do now is to look back on what we have done, where we have achieved something, where we don't think we've done the best, and then how do we forge forward, especially like my dean said, COVID has come in to teach us a lot of things, and so the question then is, in forging the way forward now, where do we look? What are the things? And of course, we are looking to the point of engaging with industry to find the best mix that will ensure that those we churn out, starting from now onwards, would actually fit the industry terrain and deliver value for Ghana.
I'm very impressed with what you're saying. You sound like a very progressive school. Your theme of 60th anniversary sounds like you are aware of the global challenges and all of that.
Yeah.
How does the school thrive like that? How has it been able to thrive? I think the whole university is one of the schools that has remained and made itself particularly relevant to global trends. You've done well.
Yeah.
Have you done better than history department?
Now that's a political question. I believe
that's a very political question. Have you done better than my classics department?
We have. I mean, Paul, let's look at it. Like I said, there's no bank in Ghana you enter, you don't find us. There's no hospital in Ghana. There's nowhere you enter.
I have to pay homage for you on a particular matter. When we started City FM, 2004, some of your graduates, Clement Akapam,
Yes.
And Nia Patu Planch.
Yes.
Particularly instrumental.
Right.
Came in, they were reporters and they were also marketers.
Yes.
And they helped our marketing people. And during meetings,
Yes.
as news reporter, Clement will still make an input in marketing. I'm delighted to tell you that he was here in the studio recently.
Right.
He's written a book.
Oh, wow.
On corporate governance. He's a lawyer now. He
Yes.
teaches at GIMPA.
Yes.
But he was very instrumental. And it gave me a different understanding of what School of Admin produces.
And that's what we are noted for. The fact that we train people who are versatile, they go in there and can enter places and cause a change. There are younger ones, there are older ones.
They did that.
And in fact, when people get to the
There was
top,
another one, Sola Aklamati.
Okay.
Who's also become a lawyer now.
Right.
He also came to us from School of Admin. We recruited him from there.
Yes.
And he was fantastic too.
And the roll call is a long one, right?
Yeah,
the last time that I spoke about this, the vice president made a joke to Honorable Asidin Ketia, and then it was laughed over. So Honorable Asidin Ketia was there, Mr. McMahon was there, the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana was there, Dr. KK Sapon was there.
KK Sapon was
there.
I
didn't
didn't know Peter McMahon was there.
Yeah, Mr. McMahon was there. In fact, he is such a proud alumnus of ours, and he
Professor
shows
Mills
us
taught there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he did.
I
He
remember
taught company law there and all of that. And like Vera talked about, the reality is that we recognize that as a school we have to make impact. And so what we do, and not long ago we had actually partnered with Bloomberg, and we trained over 100 journalists in financial reporting in Ghana. Yes, and they came from all over the media houses in Ghana. We're partnering companies and organizations and training. We're training people in Ministry of Finance. We're training people in Parliament. We have, everywhere else we do.
So you run training sessions?
So we run short courses.
As a business school?
Yes, short courses that allow people to come in and do a week's training, corporate training. We do consultancy and all of that. And then in our usual bouquet of master's programs, we are coming out with very new and innovative programs. And now it's an issue of big data.
Media and business, something like that.
Well, so we
because
actually
media and business is not it's not coming out well in
well,
Ghana.
there is one thing that I don't want to say.
Media is a business.
Yes.
Fox is a media is a business.
Absolutely.
We are not being
Absolutely.
able to. Multimedia has done a great job with it.
Yeah, they have.
But
they
we
have.
are not.
And we
able
have
to do
some very good collaboration with multimedia, and getting to do some programs and engaging students and what have you. So for us, it's a proud moment for us. It's coming 60 years. Is something to celebrate, but we are mindful that we don't just rely on our past glories. We want to be relevant, and so we are investing in technology, we are investing in innovation, and helping to create innovation hubs so students can learn something and they come out and we don't get bashed by industry that our students are
not ready for industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what we always hear.
Like that.
But you've also signed up the Bank of Ghana to occupy a chair.
Yes, so we just, yesterday, the university signed a cooperation agreement. The Bank of Ghana has just established a chair for finance and economics. And this is a 3-year chair that we will be recruiting an accomplished and renowned scholar in that area to not only affect research, but also integrate research and practice. And the bank is happy to support us to do this because the bank thinks that the interface between research and academia should be strengthened, and that academia must become a bit more relevant than we currently do. So that chair is going to help us to
Is Professor Nkrumah still around?
Unfortunately, he is one of the greatest icons we have as a school. Unfortunately, he passed. In fact, as part of our 60th anniversary, we actually have a monument we are working on to name after him and to immortalize him in the school. He is the thing that brought life to the business.
So finally, what should we expect? What activities should we expect?
Okay, so beyond tomorrow's 42nd, which will be the meeting ground for industry, we are looking at having things like, an engagement in terms of a family fun day with UGBS and others. We are looking at hopefully having the UGBS Olympics. And of course, my dean said we're going to have a facility to immortalize the late Prof. Nkrumah. And then we're also looking at the fact that, yes, even as we're pursuing the delivery of business education, not everybody has the financial capacity or the muscle to come in there. So we're also hoping to unveil a scholarship fund for needy students And so that would also be launched somewhere along the line. And then, of course, we climax everything most likely with a Thanksgiving service. And so the details will be put out there. So for our social media handles and all, you'll be on the lookout to see all that we've got to give.
I see. That's very interesting. Final word?
Well, let me say kudos to all our, one of the things that, Paul, I always tell our alumni is that please keep your head high because your school is the best and made you the best. Make sure that you speak well about us, speak well of the school, and follow us on our social media. Make sure you don't soil your name, so you soil the name of the school, because we teach you ethical ways of behavior. Ensure that when you have space in your organization, give space to the young ones that we are training to do internship. And if God blesses you, come and bless the school. We are currently launching the one student, one laptop initiative, and we want to invite all our alumni to support us, to support needy students, especially with a laptop, so they can have change.
Proud alumni at Vodafone. Do you know that?
Yes, we do.
Ashokaya Kron.
Yes, we do. Yes.
It's a proud alumni.
Yes.
And that's Vodafone.
I'm going to
so one student, one laptop.
Yes.
Vodafone. Okay. Ashoka, sorry for bringing your name up that way. Anyway, Pastor David Bindam is coming up shortly, and thank you to MCR for giving us some time. But before then, Qatar World Cup is in November. Never mind about November, we're in August. It's the birthday of the minister tonight. This is the minister who took us to Nigeria and qualified us for the World Cup. We met him in Kumasi and he gave us such a fantastic time. It's your birthday, Honorable Minister for Sport. This is what we have done for you.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous, keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah. This is what awaits you if you will wholeheartedly believe that Jesus is the Son of God raised from the dead and personally confess him as the Lord of your life. Glory to God.
Hallelujah. Join Dr. David Bindam on the Good Life Devotion every Monday to Friday on this channel and receive truth that will usher you into the good life experience.